And it's almost Christmas. You know that when they put the Christmas decorations in at Costco, that you're going to start seeing all the Christmas comics come out, and this one is a bomb. It is good. Marley's Ghost, all right? So if you grew up on Mad Magazine, you are going to instantaneously recognize a lot of the look and feel of this one. Man, so Harvey Kurtzman, I grew up with Mad Magazine. I loved Mad Magazine. It was a great thing. Kind of grew out of it, and then I find Marley's Ghost, and you get that look and feel. I really appreciate the fact that Gideon Kendall, Josh O'Neill, and Shannon Wheeler expanded this storyline and actually brought it to life. And the beautiful part about bringing it to life is it reads like a Mad Magazine comic. It is amazingly cool, but it's got enough modern bits and pieces to it to make it even more exciting and more dynamic. I mean, we all know the Scrooge story. We know he was kind of a bad guy that got scared by a bunch of ghosts and got turned into a good guy. And I'm really surprised his kids didn't throw him, or the nephews, nieces didn't throw him into the insane asylum at the time, because he was so different after meeting the ghosts. Had kind of one of those things where you kind of go through and you have that midlife crisis. Well, Scrooge had his, and it was accompanied by a little bit of horror and fear. But darn, you can see that Mad Magazine style, that Harvey Kurtzman style, all the way through that, and that is why this is an amazingly good comic book, and this is why I'm excited that they actually went ahead and did the whole storyline, and they did it in that Mad Magazine style. And it just makes it exciting. It makes it fun to read, right? It's not just this sad story of this lonely, bitter old man. No, it's got the little crack-ups. It's got the little side jokes. It's got the little jabs and pokes in the side of this entire storyline. So yeah, and this is another one. I mean, we generally tend to only review comic books we really like because it just makes it really easy, or comic books that we find that are just like these amazing diamonds or gems in the rough, or these new artists or otherwise, and it just makes it all the more exciting to us to kind of have this whole thing out here, right? And it's nice when you see someone taking someone else's work, someone else's dream and realization that they were never able to make happen, and then you turn it around and you're able to bring it to the audience, and you're able to bring it in the audience in such a way that it's a credit to the person that had the original idea. Right? So as you kind of go through this comic book, you have that whole look and feel. It's the Scrooge story. We grew up on it. We all know the storyline. So there's nothing to be said about the storyline. There's nothing new here. But the fact is they did it. They did it well. They did it great. You have this beautiful comic book that's well worth reading. And regardless of how you get your hands on it in terms of comic book shop or Amazon or wherever you go, it's just a good comic book to have. It'd be a great one to sit down with your 9-year-old or your kid and sit down and read. This is a really kid-friendly comic book, and there's not a whole lot of horrible things going on in here outside of the normal Scrooge story. But I mean, honestly, right, the Muppet Scrooge story and all the rest of it, scary bits and all the rest of it. So make sure your kid's around 9, if they're able to distinguish between reality and fantasy. Well, lots of adults have that problem too, so there we are. But no, definitely go check this one out, man. This is definitely worth it. I really like the fact that they did it in that whole old Mad Magazine style, and you can just tell from the artwork. If you've never read a vintage Mad Magazine from the 70s or the 80s, you need to go through and you need to do that right now, because that's just one of those rites of passage. Go get this comic book. It's really good. And remember, we're on YouTube, so don't forget to subscribe and like and comment and all the other things you do, because we're still a brand new channel and we're really trying to get this thing cranking. So we really hope you come join us and you enjoy our comic book reviews. If you've got a comic book you'd like us to review, go ahead and drop us a note on our YouTube channel and send us a copy. We'll take a look at it.